Aloha, Namaste, Sitaram, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and every one of you, to wherever you may be in this glorious world that we know as Mother Earth. It's always my pleasure for us to be together with you on this divine soul journey. Divine because we all connect our divine to whoever divine is to you. We all have a soul, a spirit, a breath of life. And on that soul that's within us, our core, we're on a journey together. And we want to be on that journey with you. It's always my pleasure to introduce my lovely co-host, Porsche. But she's doing some fabulous, fabulous things right now. And in her place, I have an amazing woman who will be my co-host as well as my guest. And I would love for you to help me introduce her. I will tell you a little bit about her in a moment. But before I do that, I just want to say, as a disclaimer, what we do and our beliefs, we're not here to convince anyone. This is not about religion. This is not about Taoism. It's not about anything. This is about you and your journey and the stories of these incredible people that we have on this show. And of course, we just would like you to sit back. And if you want to partake in any of the practices that we do, please be open to it. If not, it's okay. Just want you to sit back and enjoy the show. So I want to thank you again so much for spending this time with us. But on with the show. I have known this incredible woman for quite a number of years. And, we always run into each other. Once in a while we speak, warm, big, fuzzy. She's such a heart of gold. And, recently, I know she had some, she took some time off because she had to go through some of, health challenges, very minor. And we sort of connected back again and saying, you got to be on this show because you got such an incredible journey. So, and she does some amazing things too as well. She is a 9-to-5 as well. Hey, we all got to survive, right? But she also has some incredible businesses. And, she's going to do some stuff with us today. So I would like for you to help me welcome Regina Neal. Welcome, Regina, to the show. I call her Regina sometimes, but it is Regina. So if I slip up, you know why.
That's okay. Both are accepted. Thank you, Dianne. Dianne, sorry. See, I slipped up as well. Because my husband's niece is Diana, so used to call her that.
That's okay. That's okay. Dianne. It's in the heart. It's in the heart, I know. Regina, It is a pleasure so much, and I've told you this before, to have you here. Because, it's long overdue. It's so long overdue with some of the incredible things that you do. And you and a couple of your peers who work with one of these particular products that you use and practice, it always fascinated me. And I've seen it so many times when we do bump into each other. But I believe it was time for people to get to know more about what you do. So first of all, why don't you tell us a little bit who Regina is?
Well, besides a grandma and a mom, I have a full-time career and a few businesses, like you said, on the side. Businesses that are in helping people to enjoy their lives and step up and make the most of what they're doing here on this planet, right? Instead of just drifting along, like I thought, there's got to be more to life than this. And in my search, I, discovered ideas and tricks and tips that I then thought, I can teach this and I can help others get out of the rut that I was in. So, my journey was long and slow, and now I help others do that. One of my businesses is called Uniquely, and that's to celebrate your uniqueness, because we get lost in the chaos of, advertising and stuff like that and being compared to others, and we start comparing ourselves to others, so we forget who we are. We forget how unique and wonderful and magnificent we are. And my job is to help others realize that again. I am the award-winning author of a book called The Unique You, Being Your Absolute Best, and the purpose of that book was, again, to reach more people and help them understand how uniquely marvelous they are. So just a couple things that I do, and the other thing is color mirrors, which I was introduced to that back in 2015, 17, back when I met Moira Bush at our book writing seminar. And of course, I love color. I see all of these colors. I think, wow, it's almost like being in a jewelry shop. Like everything's sparkling. And so I was definitely fascinated, and liked Moira, liked what she had to say, and she did a reading for me with color mirrors back in 2017. And of course, when I approach anything, it's always with like, let me see, let me check this out before I say, yeah, I'm right, all in, or yes, I believe this, right? Because, we have to take our time and decide what we want to believe, because there's so much telling us what to believe, lots of lies about ourselves, because I used to believe that I wasn't so bright, but that was lies that I believed. So again, it's questioning what we believe to be true. And with color mirrors, I said it helped me get rid of a lot of unbeliefs. It helped me to rid my body of negativities that I hold there, because when we believe things, lies about ourselves, we hold it somewhere in our body. Any unforgiveness, trauma, or negativity, it's held in our body. And of course, we can't function at the amazing person we are if we're carrying around this, bag of rocks of that's all of these things we have not dealt with in our body. And, what's stored in our body sometimes, most times, comes in aches and pains. And we don't recognize it. It's easier to take a pain pill and ignore it than it is to dig deep and find out, like, where is this coming from? What's my body talking to me? And with a journey on spirit, it's like, touching with your body, your spirit, your physical body, and taking the time to pay attention to you. And I help people with that as well. And it's been really, really exciting with color mirrors. Not sure if anybody knows what color mirrors are, but it's a color mirror system that was founded in 2001 in South Africa, and then spread in that part of the world over there, and then came to Canada. Moira Bush brought it to Canada, and it's being widely received here as well, because color is part of nature. It's part of energy, and even with color, it makes us feel differently. Like, for example, we're attracted to a certain color. We'll wear certain colors more so than others, right? And we don't give it any thought. I like this color, that's all. But the colors we choose and the colors we like tell things about us. Right? And remember with my reading with Moira, we picked colors, color bottles. She asked a question, and I would choose a bottle based on the answer. Say, okay, which color bottle attracts me? And she's got, there's 87 bottles in the collection, so there's lots to choose from. And once I made a decision as to which bottle I want, I would take it, put it there, and then she would tell me what this bottle meant. And sometimes, I was like, well, I don't know. Yeah, okay, I can see that. I'm not sure about that. But then, I got a recording of my reading. So, months later, I read the recording again after I had done some clearing work and, healing throughout the months. That, this was true. I see that now.
Yeah, been
Right?
there, done
So,
that too. I've had that experience too. Like you don't see it in the moment, but definitely you go back and you have to reflect and when things happen. And he was like, yeah, it's like, like reading tarot cards or angel cards or checking a pendulum, a sacred pendulum, or just using a regular pendulum. It's all these things to measure and to compare it to as well, just to justify, is this person really know what they're saying or doing? But I understand what you're saying, but please do continue, because this would be a good segue to go into what we had done. We did a little bit of prepping before the show, like a moment or so, when I had to pick a number to associate with color. So maybe when you finish your story, we can go into that straight away, since you already prepped us for that.
Exactly. That's perfect. Okay, and there's different colors in nature, because that has the energy. Some colors make us happy. Some colors make us feel sad. Like, I remember one time I didn't like brown. That was a phase in my life, and sometimes I wore all blue. I had blue almost every time I wore something. It was blue.
Yes, I know that. I always see you with blue. Even the cover of your book is in blue.
Yes. That got to a new, and that was a new phase. I remember meeting Maura for the first time. I was wearing the royal blue dress, and I had a gold sweater on. And she said to me, "Those are the Egyptian princess colors." I said, "All right, I'll take those." I'm an Egyptian princess.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, but those colors, it makes me feel good when I wear it. And there's a pink that I wear that I feel good in, and also too, it tells other people, and they don't know it physically, like in their conscious mind, they don't know it, but my spirit speaks to your spirit, and your spirit knows what the colors mean. My spirit knows what the colors mean. Mm-hmm. So, it's just another way of communicating on a higher frequency, and each color has different frequencies too. Like, like our chakras are all different colors. Like the base chakra is a red color, right? Red is survival, right?
That's right.
It's doing the physical stuff here on the earth, right? Whereas violet is the spiritual color, and then of course there's all the colors in between. Right? So it was pretty exciting learning, and my learning is still ongoing, because starting Friday I'm doing a color mirrors, numerology, and planets, how they all relate. And again, this is the whole eye-opening as well. And we are becoming, we as humanity are becoming more aware of why we're here on Earth. And we didn't just come to, struggle through life, die, and get buried. We came here to enjoy life and contribute. And most of us don't know what our contribution is. And in my reading with Moira, of course, first thing she did is got my birth date and figured out what my number was and how that was related to colors and the planets and stuff like that. And I'm connected with Jupiter, which is the largest planet. Now, my purpose is to live big, not be the shy, quiet, small person I lived all my life, afraid to speak, or I've got nothing important to say. I was living those lives all my life. And, so I had started, waking up to my purpose without knowing it at the time, because, I wrote the book, and I've been speaking with people and doing home show presentations to help, build confidence with women that way. So I was starting to wake up and live bigger, but still I was living a lot smaller. So now I'm still needing to step up more. I keep getting those messages, and we all get messages, and we just don't know of them. We're not aware of them. We don't tune into them. So your job, my job, people who are aware, our job is to teach other people how to be aware, and to be happy, and bring them into a higher vibration, so then they can see what's functioning around them within the level of love and joy, right? Instead of being down at the level where it's like, oh my God, I gotta work, I gotta eat, I gotta, pay the rent. When we're working on that level, that's the only thing that we're seeing. We're not seeing what's above that's for us. Right? So it's to help us to awaken, to be more aware. So with the color mirrors, like I said, it showed me that I needed to step up, right? To start speaking, being bigger. And I'm like, it is time. I should have known this a long time ago, but everything happens in the perfect timing. So
that is
okay,
so
now's
true.
the time.
Regina, I have to say this. When I met Regina, oh my, she was shy. She was shy. Remember your birthday? I don't remember which birthday it was, but you remember your birthday?
My 60th, yes.
The 60th birthday. And you were shy at the time, right? Came out to your birthday party. And you were shy at that time. There's no question about it. And now you're, like this lotus flower just open up. She's unstoppable now.
Mm-hmm.
She's so unstoppable that, and I have to applaud you. And, the journey wasn't easy at all. I mean, definitely you had to work through a lot to get to where you are. It's a realization.
Yes,
the realization. There's so many things you've been through, like everyone, your low moments. And of course, you reached a point, but you have to go through all of that in order to be where you are today. And now using all of what you know to help you first yourself. You have to help yourself before you can help anyone else. So yes, what she is saying is so true. Obviously it's her story. I'm not going to negate that, but she was. I remember in 2015 when I had my office at the other location, you took a 3-hour bus ride to come to see me and say hi. And when you told me how long it took, you was like, what? She said, oh, it's nothing. 3-hour bus ride. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I thought, like, 3-hour bus ride? This woman is incredible. And to her, it was like nothing. It was like no big deal. And I, if I didn't say it then, that actually meant a lot to me, because it really showed me that somebody appreciated, who I am, what I was doing, but as a person. And you just wanted to come out and see the studio. That was all it was, and say hi. And you sat down on a bus, and I think about 2 or 3 buses, because I had to ask you how many buses it took you to get there. And it was like 2, and I don't think it was 2, I think it was like about 3, maybe 3 or 4.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was a bus, a subway,
okay,
and a couple of more buses.
But you got there. And I can't thank you enough, because that shows integrity, and that shows respect and love for someone. And you may not always be together all the time when communication with someone, but in the back, whenever we met, even the time we went on the boat ride, the cruise, it was time that we spent together on the odd time. So thank you so much for those memories. There's certain memories you'll always have with someone.
You're welcome.
So thank you for that.
It was most enjoyable, yes. We had such a great time that day. You took some pictures of us.
Yes, I did.
Shots.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that. We took some shots, and, and again, it's all these little things add up to where you are today to help you. Because I said, no, you got to get out your box. I always, encourage people to just be in the moment. Just be in the moment. And just took out some candid pictures, no makeup or anything, and you just came out. It was fun. Yeah. It was fun. But that's who I am. But definitely so. So let's talk about what, and we'll do. Actually, before we do that, let me just do this first. Let's do a forgiveness practice, which is like a cleanse practice. And once we do this, then we'll get into your color mirroring. That will help set the frame for what you're going to
Yes.
be doing. So we can clear what's inside of us. Now, one of the things you're going to hear me say a couple words in this invocation, very simple. Most of you who been with us before have heard this in many different versions of the forgiveness practice. But we want to clear the air. We want to clear our space. We want to clear our karma. So you're going to hear some words. Shen, Qi, Jin. This is Mandarin. It's not a foreign language. And Shen basically is broken up into three components. The soul, which is the boss, that stores the information, that goes to the heart, that transfers to the heart. And then you have the mind. The mind is what processes, and it goes into the chi, which is energy in your body, because we're going to be talking about energy. And the jin is the matter, the physical matter in your body. And then you hear about lower dantian. The lower dantian basically means it's under, a little flab you have in your stomach there, which I'm kind of feeling right now. That's one of our storage centers. And earlier, Regina had mentioned about, your chakra, your survival chakra, the first house, we call it, or the first chakra, which is survival, which is red, which this forgiveness practice is about finances. Now, in your first chakra, your finances, this is one of the most prominent storage areas for energy. And of course, we have our Kundalini, our Mingmen, our heart, which is our message center, we call it, which is our fourth chakra. But basically, the first chakra also houses relationship, finance, immunity, longevity, and many, many more. Survival, definitely so. So this is why I believe this would be a good practice just to do very quickly. And then it's back to Regina. So if you just would like to bear with me for a moment, and I would like you to just relax, just close your eyes. You could put one hand on your lower, just under your belly button, so your abdomen area, and one hand by your message center is in your sternum, where your both ribs meet, just under your breastbone there. There's a space there. In that area, you could put the other hand there. And this is what it goes. So if you'd like to take a few deep breaths in, this is to transform finances and business, since we're talking about business here, and finances and survival. So take some deep breaths in. And when you're breathing in, you're going to breathe in like a light. Visualize a light. Visualize the sun or the moon or anything you have out there. And just visualize that light going down to your first chakra, which is by your groin area, your base. Hold it for a moment. And then when you breathe out, all the toxic that's in your body, you breathe it out. So it's a cleanse. So breathe in, hold it, then breathe out the negative, hold it, breathe in again, hold it, and breathe out. And why you continue to do so, I'm just going to read this. Their source and divine, they're all spiritual fathers and mothers in all realms. They're heaven and Mother Earth. They're countless planets, stars, galaxies, and universes. They're all the souls my ancestors or I have harmed in any way related to money or business in this lifetime and all lifetimes. They're Shen Qi Jin of my lower dantian. I love you all. Please forgive my ancestors and me for the mistakes we have made in this lifetime and all lifetimes, causing any challenges in anyone's finances or business. We unconditionally forgive anyone who has harmed the finances or businesses of my ancestors or me in all lifetimes. Please heal and transform my finances and business. I am extremely grateful. Thank you. Now I'd like you to continue to visualize a shining golden light in your lower abdomen, in the lower dantian. And just for a moment or so, have a minute or so, we're going to chant this. You can follow if you know it. If not, it's okay. I'll do it for you. Just going to chant it. I'm not going to sing it. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you unconditionally. You forgive me unconditionally. Bring love, peace, and harmony. And we're just going to end this practice now by saying how. How basically means all is good, it's great. Thank you. And Gunsong basically means when you call on the souls and heaven's team, you have to politely give them respect. And they have to go back to their humble abode. So you give them permission and say, yes, it's okay, you can go back now. And I just want you to take a few deep breaths again. In and then out. In and out. And one more time. In and out. And you can slowly open your eyes. You can shake your body a bit. And thank you for sharing that moment. And you may feel something. You may feel more at peace, more relaxed. And now we'll have Regina do her part. Now that you're more relaxed and willing and ready to learn more. And for those who are just joining us, we're with Regina Neal on the Divine Soul Journey. And if you would like to connect with us, you can connect with us as dsjshow2020@gmail.com if you'd like to find out more. Regina, on with the show.
Hi. That was very good, Dianne. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, back when we were talking about you when you met me on my 60th birthday, you said that I was still shy, but I had come so far you would not have recognized me when I was growing up and when I was in my early years. Just a little bit more about me, too. My journey was that I was married at 17 and a half, and then at 23, I was a single mom of two. So 2 husbands later, it wasn't an easy journey. And being a single mom, I had to learn how to survive and do things that I didn't want to do, which, stop being shy, stop being a wallflower, but to learn and to survive, do things to make a living for my children, to help them to grow. And then, like I said, that information that I had learned then, I also be able to pass on to other people. Because I was always a coach and didn't even know it. Back then, people would come to me for advice or for help or to share their troubles too. So my title is Confidence Coach as well as a color mirrors practitioner. But so it wasn't easy. And but I've always questioned spiritually. I've always questioned the things I believed, what I learned in different religions that I went through, because I used to like learning about the different denominations, because I had a curiosity. So it's only fair that I am now where I'm at in my life, but to be experiencing different types of spirituality and spiritual growth and connecting with my inner self. So just a little bit there that you probably didn't know.
Oh, trust me. Here's the funny thing. When we look at each other, we are seeing a reflection of each other, and just, we wanted to get on with the practice for you to show everyone what you do so amazingly. But the fact is, I learned that too, as well as the curiosity. And I was told, stop trying to understand and just embrace it after recently. But the fact is, because in our past lives that we've been part of everything, we've been amazing healers, teachers, and so forth, and in different capacity, royalty, and all these different things we've been part of. Because in our back of our minds, deep within, you are curious because you've been part of all these different realms and lives. So some things make sense to you, and that's why we're always looking and seeking, because it feels comfortable and it feels like I kind of know something about it, but I'm not exactly sure, because you've been there, done that, possibly, or been part of that space. But let's
it
so resonates. So let's talk about the color mirror for time. Time goes really fast, Regina.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. Yeah. So I picked the number 30. I don't know if I was supposed to say that.
That's okay. That's okay. Because what it is that, normally you could see a wall of bottles and colors and pick it by looking at the colors, or you can pick a number that resonates to you. And sometimes if you need an answer to a question, you would focus on the question and then pick a number or a bottle to get an answer to that. So now the bottle you picked, bottle number 30, is creativity. Now it's the color of it is turquoise, which is deep turquoise on the top and yellow, pale turquoise on the bottom. Now with the two color bottles, the top color represents our conscious, and the lower color is our subconscious. So sometimes there's, the top looks okay, but underneath there's this whole lot of things that we need to be considering. But you've got turquoise top and bottom, so that's kind of good. You don't have to go with two different colors. You would just work with the one. But this bottle is related to writers and artists who need time by themselves to let their creativity flow. Give yourself the space to let your imagination expand and flourish. Become the creator of your own life. You are gifted in the arts and a wise counselor. Unfortunately, people often want too much from you, so make space for yourself. Learn to fill your own cup so that it might overflow into the world. Set boundaries to your space and time and do something creative, for that is how you feed your soul. Do not let others get you overstressed, or you will be flirting with burnout. This is a really good bottle because it's called Grace Under Pressure, or it coordinates with Grace Under Pressure, which is the bottle before that, and it invites you to open your heart. Turquoise represents heartfelt communication because your heart's green and your throat is blue. When turquoise is the combination of both of those colors. So it's heartfelt communication. It's your higher heart chakra. Okay? And number 3 also is a message from the planet Jupiter bottle, and Jupiter is the coral color. And coral is a mixture of pink and yellow, which pink is love and yellow is joy. Right? And so when you mix those two together, get love and joy is in the same bottle, right? So you're getting a mixture of both, and so the colors also work with numbers as well. So you're getting a different expansion of reading. And now, how does that sound to you? Now, I know you're an artist, you're a writer, so this is the tic tac.
Oh my gosh, I am just giggling here because here's a funny thing. I never thought of myself as being an artist. I never thought of myself as being creative. And that's a funny
You
thing.
who
No,
runs
no,
the
no. Well,
show.
here's the thing. I never had training for all these things, but um, where do I start? I don't think we'll have time on the show to even begin to explain what all of this means. But I mean, just doing diving things. You know me when I had at the studio on my TV shows and the radio and so forth. Just recently, I started a couple months ago. I started to do designing just for the fun. Everything I do, I do it for the fun of it. No training whatsoever.
Yes.
And it's I just started doing it. People say, "Can you do that for me?" I'm like, "Oh, I kind of do it for myself." Or if I do it for someone in our group, they don't even know I'm doing it. But somebody wants to hire me to do it, and I was like, I don't know about that, because when you're doing something for yourself, you know what you sort of want, but then you have to do it for somebody else. There's a whole other story and pressure behind it.
Yeah,
and
you
they're
feel
very
obligated.
picky. They're so picky and fussy, and you know what? I don't know if I have that patience anymore for that in that sense. Leave that to the experts, right? And there's certain things in limitation what I can do, and we had that conversation yesterday. However, long story short, yes, I've done all of those things, but it was just like with my knowing channel, my direct knowing channel, which I now know my spiritual channels are open. I didn't know at the time what it meant or anything, but it all came natural to me. Everything I did, it's just for the fun of it. But yesterday, I was doing some shows, and one of them, he did a home chakra, akashic blessing, like a clearing.
Oh,
yeah. And he said to me, because we're in the studio right now, he said in the space there's a corner, and he even emailed me last night and said, go and sit in that chair, one of the chairs. And I said, well, there's 3 chairs in this room. It's not a very big room, but the 3 chairs in this room. Go in the corner and do such and such and meditate and so forth. And I'm thinking, and yes, he said, because to bring out the creativity. So when you said that, because I know this is something we've been talking about in my space for a long time, and it's so funny, the exact words. And then after, when I did this one with I did a soul operation show, and one of my girls, and she was saying, yes, I said, well, you know what, put in heaven's guidance what it is you want to do a soul operation. And a soul operation is basically like having surgery. I kid you not. I felt like I was in a recovery room after she was done. And she's talking about, you need groundedness and so forth, and boundaries. I'm thinking, yes, Regina talking about this. But the funny thing is, I love coral. I love coral. And when you talk about checking, color checking, with your, it's like we use pendulum. We have inside of us, we have built-in, sacred pendulums that we can use, and there's other forms and ways you could do measurements and to do some soul checking and so forth. And you could do physical pendulum, or some people have their knowing channels open, or their spiritual channels open, and so it's just a measurement to, yes, on the right path. And it's nothing different to what we all do. We just do it in a different modality. That's basically what it is. But at the end of the day, it's it does resonate with China, and that could be another conversation for another day in so many ways. But yes, it's more on the creative side, and yes, I've been taking time off to pretty much figure out, for help working on myself and see, okay, where I want to do. And for the past couple of days, because I'm always in some type of training, but one in particular 2 nights ago, I got it. I was like, whoa, I love this. Very simple. So everything you said there resonated. There's no question. Thank you.
Exactly. And fun is definitely part of it, because the more
Have you met me,
love.
Regina? Hello, that is my
Exactly.
middle name. That's what I do everything. It makes it so much easier.
Exactly. And
However,
you
it
are
has
so
its
on
pros
right on
and
track.
cons. It has its pros
Yeah.
and cons. Sometimes when you need too much fun, people, you know, sort of take that out of perspective, and then you become a charity, or they kind of think you're vulnerable and so forth. And so it has its
Yeah.
pros
And
and cons. But
that's where you need to set your boundaries and
yeah,
know,
of
how much.
course.
And it says express, turquoise, the color of turquoise is express what you feel and trust, right? And trust that you are safe. Right?
So
So
I
you can
express
say
what I
what you
feel.
feel.
I express
Yeah.
what I feel. Some people may not like it, but I was told that's a very good strong point.
Yeah.
It has its
But you
pros and
have,
cons as well. So
yeah,
and
you have to
who?
be true to you.
Well, here's the
Right?
thing. Sometimes I always say to people, when somebody approach you, they come to you because you're asking for something, and that's the person who was presented. You ask for that person, not directly, but you ask for that person. You ask for an
Mhm.
answer, and when the person appears to you, could be somebody close to you, somebody you don't know. And sometimes the deepest lessons, as you know, comes with the greatest pain. And
Yes.
I've been through a lot of those, and we have to detach because it no longer serves you, not in a negative way, but the purpose when people come into your life for a reason to
Yes.
make it
Yes.
better for
Absolutely.
you in a better place. And the attachment is there, but the most important lesson is you did not get too attached to anyone or anything, because
Yes.
as time goes on and you move on, things can happen because the emotion kicks in, and sometimes that's what you get too attached, and that's where you end up in struggling in relationships, and very innocent relationships can become very dark, trying relationships. And you've been through so many of those. I've been through so many of those. It's not even funny.
Yes.
And I
And
appreciate it.
forgiveness is definitely important because sometimes we
Hmm.
think somebody did something terrible to us by breaking our heart or whatever. But I would not have been in Ontario if it wasn't for my broken heart, and I had to move from where I was and say, where do I move to? Well, let's go to Toronto to my two small children and come to Toronto.
Yeah.
But it was, it was the decision I made out of pain a long time ago, 1981, but it to end up being one of the best choices that I had made. And with the healing and the color mirrors, now one of the part of the healing process is you get a bottle and you bathe in it, and over like 3 times over 2 weeks, or as color practitioners, we do the whole bottle once, and it's like big releasing. But part of it was the forgiveness, and I remember doing a timeline forgiveness. I was in a bath and went through the whole process right from the day I was born in my the hospital room with my mother. And I need to ask her if she had anybody visit her when I was born, just for curiosity's sake. But I visit my mother. I spoke with her. I held me in my arms and spoke wonderful things to me because I was born before my mother was married. So I held the belief that I was a mistake, and I had to talk to me at that stage in my life as part of the healing path, timeline healing, and tell me how much I was needed and how much I'm going to change the world. So, but it was pretty cool, the whole process of that. So scary and rejuvenating at the same time.
Well, if I
Right?
tell you, I was the last of 6 children, and I came very much unexpectedly. I came, I came 5 years after my last sister, and I'm the youngest. And my
Oh
mom
yeah.
was sick at the time, and she did her best to give me what the others um, didn't get, in a sense, in terms of health. But that ended up being the worst thing possible because that got me so sick, and I was a dying baby. So,
Oh, oh.
yeah, that's a whole nother story. Some people know the story already as it is. But at the end of the day, nothing is. I've learned to embrace the good, the bad, and the ugly in my life. And once I realized that, what, coulda, shoulda, woulda, it's
Yeah.
all fine, and it's hard to accept. But once you realize, and I always say this to people, I love when Steve, I always repeat this, when Steve Harvey spoke about If he had all his wealth and the knowledge and so forth he had back then, it would not have served him much purpose, because he would just blow all the money and, the lifestyles. And now he worships his wife. He's had many, but he's worshiped his wife, doing better with himself, because now he appreciates and his values. And it's a later age. And unfortunately, many of us at a later age discover this. So we have to embrace everything that's happened to us. Our past experience will lead us to our life's destiny and purpose, because we're all here to serve. So definitely, there's I don't question, because if I didn't, meet when I came here as well, life would have been different, from where I'm from, Trinidad, and life would have been so different. We don't know where we would have been if I haven't gone and decide to make a decision and say, no, I'm not going to put food to the fire after certain events happen with people and their drama. And I just ended up saying, okay, I'm going to go to this organization, which pretty much saved my life. So, and of course, this is why we're talking right now. Many of the people that you knew in my life is no longer there, because I appreciate everything they've done. Doesn't mean they have different life, because when you reach a different levels in your life, some people are still working on themselves, but you can't have people holding you back.
Right.
You can't. You have to get up, brush yourself, and you have to survive. That's why it's so important to build a foundation in your chakras, in your body, and learn to release. And I cannot stress enough how much detachment. Stop holding on to things. Attachment will pull you down. Definitely so.
It's so freeing once we're able to release the feelings of others, the ideas we had of others, and, people who've left our life, who served their purpose and moved on, and we're still holding on to the hurt and the emotion and feeling they should still be in our lives. We're still holding on to this. When they left, their job was done. Our connection with them is done. And once we release that, we are free. And forgiveness is, free as well. And forgiving is also part of forgiving self. And sometimes we forget to do that. It's due to forgiving of self. And understand that all was for the perfect reason. The perfect reason is for our spiritual growth. Even though it's hard to see it at the time, it's like, oh, okay, that was part of that lesson.
Absolutely.
To make me grow to the next lesson, to get me to where I am today, so that through my experiences in life, I can help others.
Absolutely.
And same with you.
Absolutely. And the thing about it too is we always, cause this versus effect. We have to take responsibility for everything we say we do and not point the finger. And when we say people have, taken our joy away, no, that's not true. We allow people to do whatever it is we want them to do to us, because it makes us feel good that, we're letting people inside, and then we complain about it. And people have moved on with their life, and it's easy to just get up and move on and just hold on to the attachments, the love, and so forth. It doesn't mean that they don't love them, but here's the thing: on a soul level, you can still communicate with them. It's just a physical level is a different story, because most people, when they come in, they have been in connection with you or part of your past life, and they're here to complete what has been done. There's some people in my life, I can't get rid of them. Don't matter what I do. Honestly, there's one or two people, few people in my life, I cannot get rid of them. Don't matter how many times we argue, we fight, disagree, whatever the case may be, and whatever, I can't get rid of them. I told somebody that
their job is
last
not
week.
finished.
No, their job is not finished. Okay, I said to one recently, I can't get rid of you no matter what I do. And he's like, nope. Why? And we look at life, and we have to embrace it for what it is. But in saying that, Regina, I want to say, what? Share some words of wisdom with us, because we can go on for hours, and we know we can go on for hours. So what would you like to share with our audience today as we wrap up the Divine Soul Journey?
Well, my advice would be to don't worry about what other people think of you, because they're busy worrying about what you think of them. So focus on being your authentic self. We're so many masks. We pretend we're something we're not because we're afraid to let our own self shine and let people know who we really are. But we are who we are. Inside, outside, we are that person. We should be proud of who we are. We decided, like I heard not that long ago that, we decided when we were going to be born, what our name was going to be.
Yes.
And
who our parents
that,
are. Who we chose our family, our parents, particularly. So
exactly.
most people
and what
can
we look
understand.
like.
Yes.
So if I choose everything about me, why I get upset and not like me? Because I had chosen me. I chose my freckles, which I used to hate when I was little, right? When I was a teenager. But I chose them. So it's like, okay, why am I upset of something that I had chosen? So I want your readers to realize that, hey, if you had chosen everything about you, your looks, your physical part of you and stuff like that, especially the things you don't like about you, take a look in the mirror and say, hey, I did a good job choosing you, right? Because it just opens your eyes, to your mind, to so much more, and then start you on the journey of healing, the journey of greater awareness, the journey of helping other people see. And that's our job, each one of us. Our job is to grow and help others grow, to love and be loved, and just spread love through the world. Like the Beatles said, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. And we need more of it, not anger and hate and forgiveness and resentment. We need love, and starting with loving ourselves, because we are God in a body, and if God's in us, love is there. God's part of us. Love is there. So.
But thank you for that. Well, I'm not sure about the skin that I have. I think they forgot about me, but that's a whole nother story. I would have chose something.
Remember, you chose it.
Yeah, apparently I chose it. I don't know what I was thinking that day, but I was chosen. But you know what? It's so funny. I think I'm going to say too much personal things here. I have people in my life, friends, who would say, "Oh my gosh, your skin is like this," and I'm like, you have never seen my skin, so I don't know what you're talking about, because I really have scarred skin from birth, basically, because of everything of my mom, when she was sick and everything, kind of toxic came out into my body, and that's a whole nother story. I have a friend used to say to me, "I love your voice," and I said, "What are you listening to?" I remember one day I had laryngitis. I was getting over it, and my voice was hoarse, and I was sounding. And this is somebody I don't really talk to on the phone. And I said, "I love your voice." I'm thinking, I'm sick. What are you listening to? And over the years, he keeps saying that. I'm thinking, what? Are you deaf? But I eventually let it go, because I didn't like my voice either. I never would use a microphone. I just literally sound like a chipmunk when I was growing up on the microphone. I remember singing in high school, playing the guitar. I couldn't really play that well, but I played one or two songs and singing. And I will not sing on the microphone even when I go anywhere. So I'm always conscious about the microphone, and here we are. You just have to get the right microphone and the right system to make it sound not so bad. Because I always believe my accent was a hinder to me. And I remember my master teacher, Kim, said, "What accent?" And apparently Trinidad has the number 10 sexiest accent in the world. And I was thinking, really? Because I have a combination of different ones where I lived in the States and here and the kids. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't know what they're listening to. But here's the thing. And I remember one of the voice coach I met somewhere, and he said, accent? What accent? And then I began to realize that we all have an accent, and some of them are hypnotic, and people just love it. And I don't know what they're listening to, but let them continue to listen to it. As long as everyone here on this show continues to listen to it, I'm happy and I'm good with that. So I would like to say,
I have to tell you, Dianne, when somebody pays a compliment to you, whether you agree with it or not, the response is thank you.
I know. Took a long time for me with compliments. That was actually a weakness of mine, taking compliments, because I never used to. And but some people taught me self love, taught me how to appreciate things. Even some of them I can't get rid of up to this day. Um, but I love them all and I appreciate them, and they will never hear these shows. I don't think they'll ever listen to it. But in spirit and soul and heart, they know that I love them dearly. So, on that note, I would love to say thank you so much, Regina, for being with us. And, I welcome
My
you to come
pleasure.
back on the show and we can talk more and chit chat more about this, because we never know who's been listening to us and who will inspire. And I would like you to reach out to Regina, through us, or and just Google her, right? She's always around. We'll put her information up there, and you can
Yes, I'm
always,
on Facebook,
yeah,
and so I'm all over the place.
she's
Neal
all
is
over
spelled
the place.
Neal.
Yes, and definitely so, definitely so. But I want to say to each and every one of you, please do connect with us on dsjshow2020 at gmail.com. Tell us your stories. Give us feedback. What you'd like to hear. I know you're listening. The stats do not lie. So I know you're listening and I know you want more, but we want to serve you better. We want to hear your stories and I want to talk to you. So, in saying that, it's always a pleasure for us to bring these shows to you. We have incredible guests that from time to time, with my beautiful co-host, is going to bring so much more when she's back. um, I wouldn't tell you what she's doing, but she's going to be unbelievable. She's working really hard at it, and the gifts and talent she's coming back with, it'd be unbelievable. So from Portia and myself, Dianne, I would like to say thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for sharing this with us. And as always, aloha, namaste, sitaram, assalamu alaikum, shalom, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to each and every one of you. And we send you all our love and blessings from us to you, and love, peace, and harmony. Until next time on the Divine Soul Journey, hope to see you soon and have a good day, good night, and a good week. Take care. Goodbye.